paisanos.
Yo!
Yes. Welcome to episode 2 of the Boss Battle Show, your bi-weekly, as of now, weekly variety geek show where we talk gaming, we talk comic books, we talk movies, we talk the inner workings of the supermodels that Jake sleeps with. Just everything that you could think about.
It's not a thing.
This
Not?
here is Boss Battle Gordy,
Yo!
one of your co-hosts.
Yep.
I am so fucking ripped.
Yeah, you are.
And that is Joke. The Sasquatch. How are you doing,
Man,
my friends?
I'm getting real sick of this joke shit.
Well, it started out as an actual mistake.
Accident.
Because
Well,
I was
I know,
trying to
and
say
then-
Jake one day, and I said
and then
Joke. And then
I made
just-
the mistake of saying, "Don't call me Joffrey. I'd rather be called Joke."
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh, I do. I remember it thoroughly because then you spent the rest of the night calling me Joke
Well, calls him as I see him.
while we played Nidhogg 2. It was
Oh my god, that was so long ago.
It was a long
How
time
could you
ago.
remember such a thing?
I hold long grudges.
Couple things for I think we're probably low on people tonight. It is Friday night. This is a live show that is happening now. You're watching it. We're talking to you. It's a good time. This also airs as an audio podcast that will go up on Monday morning, as well as segments of this go up as our YouTube videos that will be, throughout next week.
Yep.
So if you are listening to this come as an audio podcast on Monday, if my voice is infecting your ears right now and you're like, man, I wish I could see what this looked like. Well, you can cruise on over to YouTube because the full episode will be up there, or you could tune in live every other Friday night. Now we are working towards making this a weekly show. Unfortunately, that can't happen as of now because this is a very expensive show to produce. So if we can... what's up? There's somebody... look at these people. If you're listening, there's people in the chat, and we love them. If you're watching this post-mortem, there's people in the chat, and we love them. Ego Trip, Reception, Crane Box, a bunch of good motherfuckers. Anyway, we want to work towards getting this to be a weekly show. If we can hit 30 subs on Twitch, that will allow us the extra fundage to be able to make this a weekly show. Or am I lying to you? Did I say 50? Lying to you. If we can hit 30 patrons on our patreon.com/R24 or 50 subs on Twitch, that will put us over to the point where we'll be able to do this every Friday.
Weekly.
So just so you know, no obligation. I don't need your money. I want it, but I don't need it. So shall we get into the first subject, the first segment of the show?
Numero uno.
Jake, what is this segment called?
This segment is called The Wiki Geek.
The Wiki Geek. Oh, also before we get into the Wiki Geek, Sama subbed. So now we're one more closer to that goal.
Yeah, we are.
Sorry about the notification sounds. We meant to turn those off before the show. And there's another one. Oh my God, there's so many fucking subs happening right now.
Holy shit.
So sorry for people that are listening to this post-mortem. That sound, we'll fix that in the future. There it is again. Crane Box.
Thanks.
Oh man.
Much love.
Thank you so much for those. So a couple things going forward. Jake will be keeping note of any things that you ask in the chat as questions or anything. For a segment later in the show called Fan Questions, where we will then answer them. Now we'll touch upon the chat here and there, but we're not. We love you. That's all it is. So we can geek.
And now,
Knowledge, bitch.
Okay, now we'll start this off here. What's everyone playing right now? What's this last week or the last 2 weeks, since we're bi-weekly right now, been festering for your minds? Jake, what are you playing?
I have been infected by the auto chess bug. I've been playing a lot of Dota Underlords.
Let me ask you, auto chess, because when you say those words to me, I just imagine you're sitting there watching the computer play chess automatically.
No, so it's kind of, they call it auto chess. They've started changing the term to like auto battler. So it basically is kind of like a deck building draft system, but you put the units on this checkerboard, and you can arrange them in certain ways. And if you have like this unit is savage and this unit is savage, so when they team up, they get a bonus. And they fight each other every round until somebody fucking dies. It's 8 people free for all. It's I can't stop. It scratches the like Magic the Gathering itch of like drafting and card game playing, and then it's dope to watch the dudes hop around and kill each other, and like getting a win is satisfying in a way that makes me uncomfortable in most circumstances. It's good. It's really good.
Nice.
When I haven't been playing that,
you know what you haven't been playing? You haven't been playing Mortal Kombat 11 or Samurai Shodown.
I played Mortal Kombat 11 yesterday. And
you're on the PC.
Yeah, on the personal computer. Because
Jinx, you owe me a fucking slut.
What?
Because we said it at the same time.
Oh,
I jinxed you.
Okay. Personal computer.
You're mine now. Okay. So,
I'm okay.
But you can't play SamSho with us.
No, I cannot. Not currently.
That's unfortunate.
One day I'll be able to do that, but not currently.
Gordy, what are you playing?
Well, I'm playing. I'll get to the most exciting one last.
What's her name?
MK11. I've been popping into.
You popping in, fucking with them shanks.
Yeah, we had some good. We rolled the other night too.
It's true, we did. God, can I just point out back months ago when I said on whatever we were doing, and I said, mark my words, they're going to hire Cary Hayakutagawa to be the voice and face of Shang Tsung. Remember when I said that? Remember, Jake? Remember?
I was there in the text chat. I remember. That was a long ass time
what
ago.
happened?
Jesus Christ.
What happened?
It happened.
Yeah.
The dude's there.
They have.
He says the things. A taste of what's to come. Your soul is mine. He talks about Johnny Cage wanting to die, which is what he does in the, like. There's so many movie references.
Are you so eager to die, Johnny Cage? Yeah.
Still eager to die, Mr. Cage.
Yeah.
Fuck you, goddamn.
Oh yeah.
Motherfucking genius.
There's a deep cut. So we were playing, and Cary came out, and it was a mirror match.
He's
Shang.
no longer. Cary Hayakutagawa died. He lives only Shang Tsung.
He comes out, and there was a really deep cut about like the original name of the character. You had to explain.
Oh yeah,
like,
dude, Shang Long or
Shang Lao. He came out.
That's right.
He said something like, "You must be Shang Lao."
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Because Shang Lao was what John Tobias had originally named Shang Tsung in his original notes before they'd even fucking began production, and then they changed it to Shang Tsung. And I was like, "God damn, this game couldn't fan service my dick anymore." It's so good.
It's so good.
What else are you playing?
Well, I have a note here that I need to start Wizards Unite, but the thing that I'm super most excited is Samurai Shodown. I love this game. I like it.
We're going to talk about it in depth here in a little bit. I too have been playing Samurai Shodown. I like it as well, and we'll get into it later. I do have some gripes, as Gordy would say.
Yep, gripes. But
I think they're gripes that maybe are already alleviated. So we'll talk about that. I've been playing SamSho and Mortal Kombat. I'm getting a bit bored with MK, if I could be perfectly honest with you. It's still, I think, fucking phenomenal, and I'm loving it. But I only pop in like every couple days to do a couple towers, and then I'm like, all right, cool. Combat League was cool. I did it for a couple matches, and then and that was all. That's all I needed. I was like, okay, everyone's better than me still, so that's good. And according to Gordy here in the notes that he wrote down, I've also been playing Barbie, Fashion Designer 1996, Superman 64, and E.T. for Atari.
So the top 3 worst games of all time?
That's, yes. Well, I love me the fucking shitty stuff.
Yeah. E.T., man, that's you can just go to a dump and find one of those.
E.T. What's that? Buckner and Garcia.
Have
you ever heard that song, Jake? Have I ever played it for you?
Have you forced?
Okay, so you know the Pac-Man song? The fucking...
Yes.
Pac-Man Fever.
Pac-Man Fever.
Yes, I've heard
so
that song.
All of their songs that they've done are about video games. They've sung about like fucking Space Invaders and shit. They have one called E.T. I Love You. And it's like this fucking ballad that's like, E.T. I love you, or something bullshit. You have to listen to it.
I'll listen to it after the show. and we'll.
In fact,
I'll shoot you a message to tell you how bad it is.
What I should fucking do is fucking play it at the end of the show for everybody.
Oh man.
Yeah. Cool. So let's talk about some stuff, Jake.
Okay.
Which
stuff you want to talk about?
Well, you've got some stuff going on. You've got a couple of notes. There's not a whole lot of news that has taken place in the stratosphere of gaming, but
it's a light week.
It's okay. So we're going to talk a little 20 punk.
Cyberpunk. We're going to talk some 20 punk.
So some interesting news for those of you that are RPG physical gamers, tabletop RPGs. What did you?
Me.
What have you discovered?
That's me.
Yes, that is you. Tell me.
So what we've learned and what me and a buddy actually predicted not too long ago was that Cyberpunk 2077 is based on a tabletop RPG game called Cyberpunk 2020. That's next year.
Oh, it's April, dog.
Yeah,
it's April.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, dude. So we had predicted that as part of like the big like $250 whatever special edition box, you would get a physical copy of the rule books for Cyberpunk 2020. Lo and behold, the company that makes Cyberpunk 2020, Talsorian Games, I believe is what they're called, have announced that they're going to do a Cyberpunk 2020 beginner kit, like jumps. They call it a jump start kit. This is going to be really similar to the D&D starter kit that you can get. That's $20. You get a bunch of pre-made characters, core rule books, a small campaign, and some dice. They're doing the exact same thing. They're re-releasing this really old Cyberpunk tabletop RPG.
And it looks like
I've got all kinds of new.
Mike Pondsmith was saying that he was doing this because he wants to unify the timelines of the original tabletop game and the upcoming video game that's being made. So the Jumpstart kit will be kind of like the first look at the universe that they've crafted together.
Oh,
which will be amazing, because I know from some of the stuff we've seen about Cyberpunk 2077, the stats and stuff for your character match pretty, 1-to-1 to the tabletop game. So you could make your Cyberpunk 2077 character in 2020 and play it with your friends.
That's cool.
Which would be dope.
I think that we should absolutely do this.
I'm so
hell
down.
yeah.
I'm all about it.
I have the moment that this got announced, me and my buddy Dylan started talking about what would be cool for a campaign. I've already got some ideas. If you want to do it, I'll do it.
Can we do it fucking digitally with like we're doing with D&D?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We can make anything. We can make anything happen. I do want to point out that we've got screenshots of the box and the dice. The dice look awesome. I didn't pull those up. I've got it here. It's just. It says CP with a circle around it for like the 6 on the D6 and the 10 on the D10 and that kind of stuff. It is a D6 and D10 game.
I've also got there. I should have pulled up the pictures. Oh well.
I've also got the back of the box, which says it comes with one booklet with all the essential rules needed to play right out of the box. A booklet full of world lore and adventures to run, so it comes with little campaigns. 6 customizable characters, a set of cyberpunk themed dice, 2 D10s and 4 D6s, and maps and standees to help bring the world of Cyberpunk to life. I will be purchasing this. This seems awesome.
Oh yeah, I will also be
Hell
purchasing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Can we also talk about how cool it is that there is a full-on video game and then a tabletop, like leading into it? I don't know. I'm ready to see more of that.
Well,
like quality tabletop.
Do you like tabletops that tie into quality things?
I do.
Interesting, because your favorite show, Stranger Things, also has a tabletop.
Tell me about
it. It does, and it's everywhere.
A Dungeons and Dragons tabletop.
Oh, cool.
That will go along as you're avoiding season 3, just like you did season 2. God, it's so upsetting. I just want someone to watch Stranger Things with.
I mean, I watched it, and I'll watch the 3rd season with you. So
yeah, but you won't. I like to sit on the couch and I like to eat popcorn and be like, "Oh my god, did you see that?" And
that's fair.
Last year, I said it. And I looked over the couch, and it was an empty seat, and it was just me talking to the walls.
Last year, I wasn't invited.
That's not true.
Well,
for season 2, you watched it yourself.
You can text and call me to your heart's content.
I'm a complete prick, Gordy. the prickiest of pricks. So yeah, we're very excited about that. Next thing that I think we can riff on for a little bit. We've covered this before in video games, or in videos that we've done, and we thought maybe we had seen some of the last of it.
We thought.
But loot boxes and EA's penchant for them is rearing its ugly head. So they went in front of Parliament, I believe it was. So where was it? Was it Finland? It was in
European country.
Wasn't it Hungary or something?
It was the United Kingdom's Parliament.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That they had to go up and defend if... What is that? What's that say? Oh, we got some shared rewards. What is happening? There's new things happening. A mega cheer? 700? Yeah. I love you, Rayception. Thank you so much.
We all love you.
Recepticon. I'll never call you that. Yeah, so they went up to be able to defend the ethical practices of their loot box, right? Mm-hmm. And they said, that they don't call them loot boxes. They have a preferred term for them called surprise mechanics. And they said that they thought they were completely ethical. This was Carrie Hopkins. She's a senior executive at Electronic Arts, and she told the United Kingdom's Parliament that they prefer to call them surprise mechanics, and argued that their use in EA games was, quote, quite ethical and quite fun and enjoyable to people. Sounds like a goddamn robot talking. She compared the loot boxes to other products, most notably Kinder Eggs, a chocolate treat with a toy in its center, and Hatch Animals, a blind box toy animal inside of an egg. And she says, people like surprises. What do you think about this? Let's talk about it. Look at this. She's on screen now, this harlot.
I totally agree. They are like Kinder Eggs, like frickin' diabetes. A poisonous freaking thing to choke on. Diabetes.
While I don't think that her statements are wholly correct, and I do think that surprise mechanics or loot boxes are kind of shitty in most regards, I think even without the government stepping in to mandate a kind of a way to regulate these things, I think we're going to see them drop off the face of the planet anyway. So the Battle Pass can take its spot.
So you think Battle Pass is going to rise up to take the ranks?
I wholeheartedly agree that, yeah.
I think that we're seeing loot boxes completely die out. I think you're right, because if you noticed at this year's E3, everybody was very quick to be like, the season pass is free. All the stuff that's coming out is going to be free. There's no nonsense, especially when they came out with Avengers. Instead of showing gameplay, they thought they could sell their notion of their game on stage and be like, no loot boxes. And everyone was like, okay, but what's the game look like?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think loot boxes are definitely petering out. Now, battle passes, I do not dislike. Of course, they haven't been beaten into the ground just yet. There's only a few games that do them. The most notably, of course, the one that started it was Fortnite with the Battle Pass. If those of you that are uninitiated, which can't imagine anybody is, but if you pay, you can play the game for free or whatever, at least in Fortnite, or you can pay a premium amount to get a Battle Pass where you have like 100 tiers where you level up, and each tier you get stuff, and you can see you have a full layout of seeing what you're going to get, all kinds of stuff.
And there is a free tier of that as well. You don't get as much stuff or as much cool stuff, but there is a free, no buy-in. You're still going to get some stuff for playing the game version of the Battle Pass. Yeah, and I think that's why it will take over.
Yeah, I agree, because you got like Fortnite. There's the silver level where you get like stuff like every 3 tiers, and then the gold Battle Pass, the one you pay for, you get stuff every tier. They did that. Call of Duty Black Ops 4. They came out with their Battle Pass. There's another game that's doing it now too, but I can't think of the name.
Apex Legends.
Are they doing a Battle Pass?
Yes, they announced when the game launched that they were going to do a Battle Pass. There's also a version of Auto Chess that's doing a Battle Pass. There's another like indie, what's the word? Battle Royale game that's like Magic based that's planning on doing one. Like they're popping up.
Yeah.
They're showing up, and I think it's for the better because of the way that it's been set in place by Fortnite. I think it almost guarantees that there will always be a free tier of Battle Pass, which will make it better for casual players.
Yeah, and Cranebox pointed out there in the chat
Rocket League,
League, because I've been playing the the Electric Summer or whatever, their 80s nonsense, which is so fucking cool, by the way. And I haven't played Rocket League in years, so I haven't seen the latest updates. It's a very good game. But yeah, they've got the Battle Pass, or it's they probably call it something like a Rocket Pass or something.
Rocket Pass,
but it's the same shit. I think it's cool. I like it. I love earning rewards. So I didn't always hate loot boxes. Like, I loved loot boxes in Overwatch and shit because I don't know. It does kind of inherently prey on that addiction of like, well, maybe just 5 more and see what I can get.
Yeah.
But I do love the Battle Pass system more because I'm like, oh shit, if I can get up to level 50, I can get this dope ass skin. I better play and grind. And back before MK11 came out, there was the rumors with all those leaks that it was going to have its own Battle Pass system, which I was all for. Yeah. That didn't end up coming to fruition. I wonder if maybe that was scrapped early in development. Where are you at, Gordy?
I mean, there's kind of one now with the like Combat League, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
But it's not the same. It's not.
But I
same.
also think that they have a fucking terrible gear system. How dare you call them skins when they're just shaders? They're just colors, different colors.
Swaps,
it's very annoying.
Annoying.
One day I'm going to make you play PC games, and you're going to realize that that's all we've been dealing with for years.
Well, one of these days, I'll say no to the PC games when you ask me. Gordy, I want to know your thoughts on the Battle Pass.
Okay, so in terms of the Battle Pass, I would say it's like sugar. You know, it's hard to say no to a spoonful of sugar, something delicious.
It's like prostitutes. It's hard to say no when they're just like $50.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
And
it's very easy to say no.
So here's my beef is we have a mechanic that does prey. I mean, they don't have normal people making these. They have psychologists and very clever people. The entire mechanic is very addictive. It's just for that quick snap of dopamine. But at the same time, it does offer you a service, so it's not like pure trash. So I'm fine with it, I guess, for now until maybe it runs its course like everything else, but I don't think it is. It's a core mechanic to games as a service. I don't know how it's going to impact games in the long run, though, because as we saw with like Destiny and stuff, this stuff they're constantly trying to grow it behind the scenes and manipulate you to pay more and more money, and then it impacts the way that the game plays. I don't like that. Make the game and then have this.
Now, we didn't play Anthem because we played the demo and we thought it was dumb.
Yeah,
I wonder what they've been. What do they have in their game that's
absolutely nothing?
How? It's EA.
It's barely made. Like, it is a shell of a video game.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. They have zero players.
They have zero players.
That's what
and if they don't, they should, because they released that game when it was like half, not even like close to the end of development. I swear it was like halfway through, because there were some bugs for just quests that like didn't make any goddamn sense. It's bad.
Well,
Anthem is bad.
That is gaming in a nutshell right there. Back in the day, back in like the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, the 90s through the 2000s, you would make a game to completion, you would release it.
Yes.
There was no day one patches, there was none of the nonsense. Now it's essentially you start developing a game, you release it almost early access, and then you just finish it as you go. That's how gaming is now, and that's what what it is. But maybe more to an extent with Anthem.
But there's a fine line between, hey, this is early access, and hey, this might not run. Good luck.
Yeah.
I know what they were trying to go for, and I was super excited for that game, but man, I've never refunded a video game faster in my entire life.
I've never not bought a game faster.
15 minutes.
We played that demo, and I was like, well, not for me.
No.
Yes. So loot boxes are shitty. They're dying, though, in our opinions.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to talk about something non-video game related? This is interesting. Yeah. This is danger territories for R24, because anytime we tried to do something non-video game related, we would get shit on. But we're going to do it anyway. So there's a new Ghostbusters movie coming out. Do you know that?
Yeah, there is.
So what we have on screen here, if you can't see it, it's the teaser trailer that came out 6 months ago or so. This is done by Ivan Reitman. It's a new Ghostbusters movie that he has, quote, said they are giving it back to the fans. So signed on currently are Dan Aykroyd,
Yay!
Bill Murray,
Yay!
Sigourney Weaver.
Hell yeah, dude!
Yes.
I've heard rumors of Janine. We've got one. I can't remember the actress's name.
We got one.
Yeah. So that's and now just yesterday they cast good old Paul Rudd in the role, which I feel like you can do no wrong. If you want your movie to succeed, you put in Paul Rudd.
Put Ant-Man in it.
You put
yeah.
Ant-Man in your movie. First of all, Annie Potts. See what she
Annie
says.
Potts.
She's
Boom.
right.
Yes.
Thank you. What does everyone think about 2016's Girl Power Ghostbusters?
I thought it was okay.
Okay.
That's
fair.
pretty much it. That's the general consensus I have for that movie is like if there's nothing else on and I'm flipping through channels or Netflix or whatever and it's just there,
Yeah.
why not? Otherwise, it wasn't, I'm not going to put it on. It was not for any reason other than it was just okay. Not what I wanted from a Ghostbusters movie.
Sama does ask if Ernie Hudson was cast, and I don't think there's been any news yet on that. Though I would not be surprised if he was. If they can get Bill Murray, they can get Ernie Hudson.
Dude, if they can get Bill Murray, they can get frickin' Harold Ramis.
They can, yeah, fucking. Too soon, Gordon.
Yeah.
Too soon. Yeah. So I don't know about Ernie Hudson, but fucking Ernie Hudson is probably homeless, living in the slums of fucking New Jersey, looking for work. Like I haven't seen that dude in a film in decades.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm sure that he'd be like, yeah, I'll do it for $350. Anyway,
And he needs about
$350. Going back to Ghostbusters 2016. So I think I took my nephews to see it because I was like, it's a Ghostbusters movie. We have to see it. You didn't see it.
No, it didn't appeal to me.
You stuck to our laurels.
Well,
because we
I wanted to see characters I was familiar with, and since they deviated from that, I was like, I'll let other people see it and tell me if I should see it.
You shouldn't have. And don't. Continue. It's not good. It's not a good movie. It has nothing to do that they were all women. It was just poorly written. It was poorly directed. It wasn't funny.
I think
and it really
Sama
should have
nailed it.
What's he
It
saying?
was a misfire, not for the ladies, but because they didn't understand why Ghostbusters was funny.
So true.
Yes!
So true. That is
Oh my
so
God.
true. I just want to fucking rub my face in that dude's beard sometime. Yes, very true.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so they misfired on that movie. What the movie should have been if they were going to do this, because fucking Thor was in it. Chris Hatfield or whatever. Hemsworth, yeah. He should have been Oscar, I feel like, which was fucking Sigourney Weaver's kid. In Ghostbusters 2, that Vigo is trying to stuff up his asshole or whatever.
Yeah.
he should have been a grown up Oscar, who basically was the torches handed to him from the original Ghostbusters team, and then the movie would have been, and then add fucking Kate McKinnon as one of the new recruits and stuff. Movie could have been fucking cool, but they chose to go a completely different route. And now with this movie, they have quoted that they're gonna right all the wrongs, so to speak. The casting of Paul Rudd, very exciting.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love Paul Rudd.
Dude is super funny. Have you ever seen a movie where Paul Rudd wasn't fucking like a saving grace of anything? Like the only bad movie I can think of that I've seen Paul Rudd in was Halloween 6. And even still, I'm like, Paul Rudd was cool.
He was in Halloween 6?
He was all right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't.
Halloween 6, I'm pretty sure, is the one with Busta Rhymes and shit. It's like when we really jumped the shark.
Is that when he gets does he get killed?
I don't remember.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, Slap at the Base. That's it exactly.
Wanderlust was a great movie too. Yeah, I don't think there's a single movie I can think of where he wasn't
Wanderlust.
just awesome.
Is that the one with Jennifer Love Lawrence?
Yeah.
Who are these people?
You're gonna take this dick.
Yeah, that's the dick. Yeah, dude, she's something else for sure. Anywho, let's get into the last part of this particular segment, because what happened this last week was Samurai Shodown came out.
Spirits were alive.
Kind of want to just take a minute to talk about our impressions of Samurai Shodown in a kind of like a review of sorts. Not quite, but Gordy and I have played it decently extensive. Jake is not, so Jake will
I have some questions that I need answered.
Okay, what do you got?
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so right out of the box, you take the disc out, you put it in your machine of choice.
Well, right out of the box,
features
that
are
would
there?
never fucking happen because I would never buy a disc if my life depended on it.
Okay.
I'll download it.
You launch the game. What features are there? Story mode, arcade, practice mode, online mode,
So
or online practice mode. What do you got?
So there is story mode. There is online, of course, casual and ranked. There is the dojo mode, which is where you play against the AI the learning AI, where it like is a shadow of another player. That's where you play that. And then there's the battle mode where you can play versus and stuff. Probably, yeah. And then some various options and practice and stuff like that. So these are your standard modes. Super bare bones for a $60 game compared to the likes of like Mortal Kombat 11 that just fucking dumps content down your throat. So there's that. I have not tried the story modes yet. Oh yeah, this is a loading screen for sure. The loading screens are abysmal. They take forever.
They are.
Yeah. Haven't tried the story mode. Have played online with Gordy, so we can talk about the netcode. We can't talk about couch co-op. Let me tell you. Let's talk about the elephants in the room of what's not great about the game.
Yes, please.
So, first of all, and I've heard conflicting reports on this, but the first thing is the online is just lag fucking city. And the reason that I can speak on this with some criticism is because we sat down to do couch versus to play through and just dig into the game, and you can't do it on Xbox. It doesn't work.
What?
It doesn't work. It takes you to the screen where you're supposed to like pick player 1 and then either player 2 and the computer, and they won't recognize the second controller. You can't even switch it to the computer. You cannot play local versus on the Xbox One while we were playing. So we couldn't do it. So Gordy had to go to his apartment, which was a block away from me. We live a block apart. We are both hardwired into the Xbox. I have super fast internet. Gordy has moderately fine internet. It's top speeds. And we were a block apart. It's same region, same state, literally like 800 feet away. And it was just super slow, lots of input delay. It was manageable. We played it, but I was like, this is very concerning. Now, on the flip side, in our Discord, I think it was Earthworm Ben, the guy with the worm family.
Yes. Wiggling worms.
He was saying
Jim's
that he played somebody in Thailand and it was flawless. So it's really interesting, the dichotomy there. Of course, he was also, I don't think it matters, but he was playing on PlayStation 4. I don't think the netcode's going to be the same all across the board, I think. So it's interesting. Hope. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So those out of the gate are things where I'm like, well, this is poorly made. But if you want to talk gameplay,
yes, please. How does it play?
It plays amazing. It's so fucking good. Now, if you are a fan of old Samurai Showdowns, and by old I mean 1 through 5, you will love this game, and it is much easier to pick up. Now, going back to the older Samurai Showdown games, they have some difficult mechanics with super moves and shit like that. The POW system, even all these years, and call me a scrub all you want, but the POW system, I've never quite understood how to manage the meter system in the old Samurai Showdown games, because we played them casually in the arcades. We played them on Super Nintendo when they came out. We never, there was no tutorials or anything, so how to manage the meter was always unknown to us. How to manage the POW system was kind of always like, what's going on? Lots of different intricacies. Is very much more modernized in this game. The meter is super easy to use with the left. We're playing on pads, mind you. We don't fuck with fight sticks. So the left trigger initiates your meter. You go into the burst mode, and then you press left trigger again to go into the lightning strike, which is really cool. It can fucking change the entire tide of the match. We had some hype moments. And the super move motion, forward and then quarter circle forward, or it's forward, half circle forward, and then right trigger, which I think is heavy and something. And it's universal for everybody. So everybody's got the same special, super manageable, some cool disarming techniques that are pretty easy to do. Once you go through the tutorial, it teaches you everything. Very cool.
Nice.
Damage is ridiculous in this game, Jake. So
yeah, we expect that. They're they're hitting people with swords. The damage should be ridiculous,
and that's why it's so
hurts.
cool. Visually,
Good.
as you can see that I got footage up on the screen here. I think the graphics are cool. Slightly dated. The game doesn't run in 4K. I think it's just outputting at regular 1080p, so it doesn't take advantage of the Xbox One X, probably, or the PS4 Pro. But it looks really cool. Very Street Fighter 4. We've talked about that when the game was revealed. It's much sexier than Street Fighter 4. Obviously, we're in a different day and age, but it's got that cool painting look to it.
That was my concern, was whether it was actually in play while you're, holding your pad or stick, whether it was too much like Street Fighter 4. And if it's not, then that's great.
Yeah, no, it was. It looks beautiful. What I love is it's fucking as bloody as Samurai Shodown has always been.
Yes.
So Samurai Shodown V Special, the second version of Samurai 5, was out of control with fucking fatalities.
Yeah.
It was the only game that to my knowledge, that had fatalities. It was bloody as shit. It to the point where it was an upset for censorship in Japan. People were like, "What the fuck." Which led to Street Fighter 6 being garbage. So it's not quite as violent as that, but it's got the old school blood spurts from the old Samurai Shodown 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it's got the not super gory, but it's got the bisections. So if you kill them with a heavy slash, they'll fall into two pieces. It's very cool.
Nice.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Gordy?
I love it. I love that it is a high damage game where you're trying to control the spaces. You're trying to be careful. You're afraid of screwing up because the punishes are brutal. My favorite mechanic is, well, maybe for some of the people that watch our channel, it might be a little bit easier for them as grizzled veterans of fighting games that stuck to it all these years. But catching the sword is so much fun. That little meta game, or whatever you want to call it, where you're trying to take it, you always got it in the back of your head. You want to get that sword out of their hands.
So what's happening here, Jake?
So
is
cool.
What you could do is if they slash at you with a heavy slash, you can essentially parry it by doing quarter circle forward and right bumper, whatever that would equate to on a fight stick, but your right bumper, right shoulder, and it will disarm them. And then the person that disarmed, they can do that same move if the player with the weapon is doing the slash, and they'll fucking catch the blade
in their freaking
catch
hands.
it in their hands,
So
and then
cool.
disarm them. It's
an old mechanic,
awesome.
but
so cool.
I'm sure that's satisfying as shit when you're like, there it is. Got it.
There
Good to
is like perfect blocking. It's called Just Defense. So it's just like it's a thing that all the games
I have a hard
now.
time with it though, because
it's just like flawless block in Mortal Kombat 11. So you have to block at the fucking last possible frame.
Second, but it's a little harder for me because you got to press back, and the button for some reason is easier for the flawless.
Well, no, that's if you want to parry. You can still just block by just pressing back, and you'll do the blue flash flawless block, but you just won't take chip damage. But if you block and press the button, you'll do that cool parry where you can then
no, I'm talking about in MK you press the button to block, and it's just really easy to get perfect block in MK compared to this.
Oh, okay, sure. I think it's actually, I would agree with you. Yeah, I actually have a hard time with it in this game too.
I think I'm the opposite. I have a hard time perfect blocking in Mortal Kombat, whereas like a game with Guilty Gear that has the Just Defense system, just pushing back is super easy for me.
Yeah,
and it's the same with like Street Fighter 3 it's the same thing but forward with the parry. So I think I'm just used to using the directional option to actually do that than a button, which makes sense because it's most
back to block. I've always, since I grew up as a Mortal Kombat fan. It's funny, Mortal Kombat's on the screen. Yep. Timing.
Hey.
Block button was always like my fucking go-to. I was like, back to block, that's crazy. But now, after playing, digging into Killer Instinct for so many years, once Killer Instinct came out, I was really like, back to block is much more satisfying. I wouldn't, you couldn't change it for Mortal Kombat because that would be fucking blasphemous, but I would not be mad at them if they were like, hey, it's going to be back to block now.
Yep.
It's just a much more natural move to press back to fucking defend.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll ever take it away, but I wouldn't be surprised if they gave you the option.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like in like a setting where it was just like, do you want to hit a button or do you want to hold back to block? I think that's a good way to please both sides of that fence.
One thing that I imagine you probably like quite a bit is every special move is like quarter circle or the Shoryuken forward, down forward.
I do like it.
No
There's
back forwards,
forwards.
no charge moves.
The charges are easier for me than back forward. It's that timing for some reason.
Plays great though, Jake. I
Awesome.
really wish you were here to be able to play with us because I think you would really like it. And what's really important, and it's actually going to carry us into our secondary segment here in a minute, but it is so just rooted in Japanese culture.
Oh yeah,
And
the locales,
the locales, the fucking costumes, everything is native Japanese language. It's just
so it's not like we didn't get shitty fighting. It's not shitty because I like it a lot, but like the fighting game general just power metal music that you normally get, we actually got some.
No, you get
some straight up samurai ass music.
Exactly, you get fucking traditional Japanese flutes. All kind. The music is beautiful. There's only a couple of stages where I'm like, oh, this is fucking weird music.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Yep. You'll hear some traditional instruments. You'll see, you'll get all those cool visual cues that you want.
My qualms where we couldn't do the versus mode. I was playing today before we came to the studio to set up for the show.
Yeah,
and it appeared that issue is now fixed. So if that's the case, I will have not very many qualms.
Nice.
So I don't know that it's worth $60 because it's very low on features. It's only got 16 fighters right now, 4 DLCs coming out, which will bring the roster still only up to 20, but that's okay. But I definitely would have put it at a $40 price point.
Yeah, I think that's what we all thought it was going to release. That was $39.99.
Yeah, it's interesting that they charge the full 60. But right now you can get the season pass for free. If you pre-ordered it, you could have got the season pass for free, and then they open it up so you could still for like the next week or so or the next few days. Maybe by the time this drops on the channel and on stuff like that, it might be over with. I don't know, but you can just go on and download the season pass for free. So,
yeah, if you're watching this live, go get the pass.
Virtual Jesse says in the chat, he says that the virtual pass or the season pass is available until the 30th, which is 2 days. So by the time this episode airs on YouTube and on podcasting services, it is over. So, anywho, it's great. Samurai Shodown is worth a buy. If you're casual about fighting games, maybe pick it up used. Or wait for a sale. But if you fucking want to play it, like I know you do, Jake, definitely spend the $60 if Microsoft ever sends you back an Xbox.
Yep. And if you're thinking about this anyway, do it.
Yeah. So, shall we move into our next segment?
Yeah, lead the way.
So,
yes, please.
Let me talk about this. So, what we're going to do for every episode, and we did it last week, and it seemed to go over really well. We put together a special retrospective, so to speak, and we'll probably do this every week. I'm really liking how these are turning out. Last episode, we did a special look at arcades, where they came from. In this one, Gordy and I wanted to do something a little bit more special, pertaining kind of to our childhoods, and why, because Samurai Shodown sparked some stuff into us, very, very much into Japan, obviously. The channel R24 is short for Ronin24, Adam Ronin, Samurai, Japanese culture. We're very passionate about it, especially on this side of the fucking show.
Yeah,
we have it is very dope. We have a lot of history with Japanese stuff, and we wanted to put together a look at why the setting in Japan is important for gaming and unfortunately underused.
Indeed.
So sit back for a good few minutes and check out our look at gaming in Japan. There is a certain place of magic that exists very personally for us here at R24. Gordy and I grew up obsessing over the culture of the samurai. We're talking watching Akira Kurosawa films and pining for the day that we got to devote much needed time in the far eastern lands of Japan. But until that day had arrived, we had to settle for digital-based travels. One of the earliest gaming entries that really sparked our obsession with Japan, most notably the feudal era, was Samurai Shodown. When that first launched on home consoles in 1993, it was just incredible. In the heat of the huge hits of Street Fighter and like Mortal Kombat, Samurai Shodown was distinct in one thing: fantastical tellings of ancient Japanese warriors. This sparked a fire very hot until it caught full blaze a few years later with a game called Bushido Blade. Bushido Blade released in 1997 and graced our PlayStations with the finesse and deep cut of a razor-sharp katana. This game was unlike anything we had ever experienced up to that point. We're talking free roam maps, the subtle sounds of bamboo thicket as Player 1 and Player 2's blades clashed, the threat of being killed in one hit, but more importantly, the mystique of the time period and culture. It drew us in completely. Then, the following year, the game Tenchu Stealth Assassins graced our consoles. Now, as younger kids, we were always fascinated by ninjas, but this game really hammered it home. Stalking the shadows, taking our targets, and drinking in the Japanese night in pixelated form. From then on, our interests would forever be rooted in the East, past and present. The problem is, while Japan and its histories were forefront and center in the 90s, there isn't much in the current day and age in gaming taking place in our favorite country. For years, of course, we have been pleading with Ubisoft to make an Assassin's Creed set in feudal Japan. After all, the very idea of Assassin's Creed Assassins was rooted in Japanese history. But no, of course, the developers at Ubisoft have said time and time again that Japan as a setting is too overcrowded. But, the question has to be, how? Where? Sure, there were a handful of titles in the 90s through the 2000s that the settings were indeed in Japan, and we've named a few of those. Of course, other amazing titles that came out were games like Onimusha, Total War Shogun, and of course now in more recent times we've got games like Nioh and Sekiro. But that's a far cry from oversaturation in our opinions. Now, in the darkness came a light in E3 2018 with the full reveal of Ghost of Tsushima, which honestly probably the most absolute hype game that's coming out for us. Then, of course, just recently with E3 2019, there was Ghostwire Tokyo, which looks to take place in modern Japan with more supernatural takes. These are beacons of excitement in what we think is an otherwise unexplored setting in games. But why is this so important to us? There's just a certain mystique that you get from Japan that you cannot get from other settings in video games.
So, games with the setting of Japan are important to me for a few reasons. My dad went to Japan when I was a child a few times with the Navy. I was really young at that age where every discovery is pretty amazing. He served just south of Kamakura. There's a giant Daibatsu or Buddha statue there. And I remember when he came back, one of the first pictures was that I saw, and he brought Japanese writing, Japanese recorded TV, ninjas, and I was like, what's this? So being exposed to a new language, the kanji, the spoken language, instantly, I fell in love with it. So I dug into it a little bit, and games like Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that was out, and I just started to pay more attention to it, and I got into that kind of game and the history of Japan. And so I'm a big proponent of it, but there is definitely a lack of good Japanese games out there, which is super sad. And this is my opinion. One of the things that I want to see Japanese games for is their incredible rich heritage. The feudal era of Japan is so unique. They were so sectioned off from the world that they have things that you just can't get anywhere else. When you watch games in France and Paris and all that, that's the Western world. We're very familiar with it. Japan is so unique. The other factor that I'd like to see from it is the storytelling. So if you're going to do a Japanese game right, you're going to have it set, let's say, in feudal Japan, Sengoku era, or Meiji Restoration towards the end there. In order to get it right, you have to get the culture, and then you're going to borrow from the storytelling. There are many tropes in Japanese storytelling that any anime fan is completely familiar with. So these story elements kind of are actually very old if you watch anime. A lot of them come from No, which is the oldest theater in the world, I believe, and Kabuki theater, which is a very unique form of theater. It's very, all the characters are very, jazzed up. They turn the knob up on the saturation, if you will. And the beautiful thing about it, is the storytelling. In a Kabuki play, in a scene or in the entire play, there can be an apex of emotion. And this is usually signified by a build-up, a reveal, and then someone plays the hyushigi, I believe. And it's it's a very distinct sound. It's just two pieces of wood being slapped together. It's a little bit higher pitch than bigger. And the character might stop in place. Everything freezes. If there's something in the air, it falls to the ground. And that moment signifies you should, have this emotion. And it's always like an explosion of emotion. And so all of these wonderful tropes that are so embedded in the Japanese setting and these story mechanics from the Japanese storytelling marry with the Japanese setting. And from what I've seen from like Ghost of Tsushima and some of these other games that have recently come out, they do have those elements. They do have the sound. They do have the environment. So it is more than just ancient Japan telling ancient stories. It's more than a setting. It's a feeling. It's a place. It's a way of telling a story. The entire video game industry is suffering. This is an incredible setting with some incredible storytelling that is completely foreign from anything that we're usually exposed to. And I want to see more of it. I think that it will enrich the entire genre of video games. I really hope that Ghosts of Tsushima takes off, because this is a really rich, untapped area of culture and gaming.
So, as we look to the Eastern past to light a little bit of a brighter future for our Western games, we kind of like to take a minute and just look back at all the wonderful games that have graced this time period, and along with our memories, and kind of look forward to what awesome experiences we're hoping to have in gaming in Japanese settings in 2020 and beyond. Love to know what you guys think. Let us know. What are your favorite memories with Japanese games? Ward!
Whoa.
Hello there, Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Hi.
We have returned.
We've returned.
Hello.
Hey. Yeah, so that was our look at Japanese games and why they're important.
Mm-hmm.
They seem pretty important. They are pretty important.
They are for Gordy and I.
Yeah. And, one thing I didn't touch base on in the video was when I say there aren't a lot of them, I was actually referring to now, current times. So just want to get that out there.
Yeah, no, there was a time where every, you would, here's the RTS, oh, there's the Japanese game, that's a fighting game. And now it's kind of all like Romans and Greeks, and
it's Romans, it's Greeks, it's fucking Call of
Vikings.
Duty.
Yeah.
It's San Francisco.
Bring it back.
Anywho,
Bring it back.
Shall we move on to the boss battle tier list?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the boss battle tier list. We'll start going bottom D tier all the way up to S. Now, a couple of notes.
Mm-hmm.
This is only including the list of Samurai Shodown games that were mainstay fighting entries.
Okay.
I did not include the RPG. I did not include the mobile fighting games that came out in the Neo Geo Pocket. These are just the mainstay games. Okay. So with that said, Gordy, we're about to reveal the D tier. These are the worst of the worst for Samurai Shodown games. Do me the fave. Mm-hmm. Drum roll, bitch.
Drum roll.
Yeah. Yep. Here we go. Boom. There they are. So 3 games grace the D tier.
Yeah.
So this is Samurai Shodown 64 and Samurai Shodown 64 Warrior's Rage and Samurai Shodown Zen. These were the outings in the first outings in the 3D. So
Yeah, we don't need that.
now, fun fact about Samurai Shodown Zen. This game came out in 2008 on Xbox 360. Bypassed our knowledge completely because we're always talking, I wish there was a new Samurai Shodown game.
Yeah.
There was, and it came out right when like Street Fighter 4-ish came out. And maybe a little bit before. And it was fucking terrible, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we never
It's not
played
good.
it, but I did some research on kind of what the fan base kind of thought about these games.
Yeah.
And they're pretty regarded as not very great games. Nameless does say the Neo Geo Pocket SamSho was actually pretty fun, and that is what I hear is true. Is the Pocket games were cool, but as I can't even speak to them, so they're not included on our list. Moving on up through C tier. Moving on up. Boom.
Moving on up.
So on here, C tier, I've got Samurai Shodown V or 5.
Yep.
And Samurai Shodown 6. Now, why isn't Samurai Shodown 6 a D tier game? Because a lot of people don't like it. They completely censored all the violence.
Yeah.
It's still really fucking fun. What's that say? I can't read that. I made the notification very small.
Standard operator has followed. Thank you, standard
thank you,
operator.
standard
Thanks, dude.
operator. Oh, you'll 5. You'll see standard operator. We've got V specials in here somewhere. So there are 2 different versions of Samurai Shodown 5. Samurai Shodown 5 regular, and then which was very unbalanced. It had just a lot of different things that people didn't like. So they decided they wanted to appease the fans and bring it back to more what they were enjoying with Samurai 3 and 4. So they came out with V Special later down the road, which will appear in tier list. It is higher because it is a better game. It's much better balanced. There's some different character changes. Much better game. Now, so V, because of its horrible imbalance issues, is down on the C tier. Now, I put 6 at C and not on D because while it was completely censored, it is really fucking fun.
Yeah, it plays really well.
Fun.
Okay.
It's got a huge
enough.
roster, tons of all kinds of shit that is just really fun. If it had the violence that Samurai Shodown is known for, it could have definitely made the S or A tier for us.
Oh, yeah,
So that is
definitely.
the B, or that is the C tier. Any guesses, Jake? No, you could see the list, so fuck off. You can't guess.
I can see the list.
Now, we're looking at the B tier. Gordy, are you ready for the B?
Yes.
B cups, Gordy. Boom.
B cups.
So for B, I have put on Samurai Shodown 3 and Samurai Shodown 4. Yes,
Okay.
standard operator is correct. He knows what's up.
yeah.
3 and 4, to me, for a while, were actually my favorite SamSho games. That's one thing when we were doing our impressions of Samurai Shodown 2019 that I meant to say as something I didn't care for. The one thing I really liked about 3 and 4 is the camera work. So the camera would pan out really far and then like pan in, and like you would have like the moments where you'd clash and like spin in circles around each other. Really cool cinematic moments that existed in 3 and 4 that don't exist now in the new game, which I'm like, thought it was a little curious that they didn't include that cinematic pan in and out and all kinds of crazy stuff. 3 and 4 really hammered that home, and I thought it was really cool. The roster started to grow. It was really, the violence started to get a little bit more crazy as they were inching towards 5 and 5 special.
Yes.
3 and 4, I think, are very solid games. Because they're in the mid tier there, does not by any means do I find them to be bad.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But now we're going to get
100%.
to the good games. To the ones that everybody likes. A tier.
A tier.
Ready for those?
tier,
You ready for those A
five
cups,
hole.
Gordy? A cup.
Ready for him.
Little itty bitty titty committee. Boom.
Play it on me.
A
There they
tier.
are.
I have put Samurai Shodown 2019 and Samurai Shodown 1993. The very first one.
Yeah.
So the two
First one and the last
that
one.
share the namesake. Now, it's possible that I could have moved 2019 to S tier had they fixed the local issues you and I were discovering before I'd made the tier list.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good game, but it doesn't quite capture that magic that other games had.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. Samurai Shodown, the first one, it still actually holds up very well to the day, in my opinion. We just
love that game.
Played it recently. Super good, but does not quite hold a candle to what I think, and I think we all hopefully agree, are the greatest Samurai Shodown games of all time.
Special tier.
Which is Special Tier, which is Samurai Shodown 2 and V Special, which I think is the best of that later genre of Samurai Shodown games. So
couldn't agree more.
2 obviously is just hands down really when the franchise started to shine. I have so many memories of playing Samurai Shodown 2 on a Super Nintendo.
Yep.
Sitting on the floor, just Maximilian that we would hang out with in middle school, that little fucking kid. Super, it's like a prodigy of fighting games. We would just spend hours trying to find how to do the special kill move where you would slash them and then they would sit there and the blood animate would spurt up, which persisted throughout all the games -6. And it's just, I have such fond memories. And yes, your standard operator is right, is there are 5 special tournaments to this day. In fact, I think there was just one at CEO this weekend, or this
correct
today. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
It's coming up. It's happening.
Yeah. So that's our tier list of just the mainstay Samurai Shodown games. Of course, there are the pocket games, but we didn't. I've never played those, so I can't speak to those. There's the RPG game, and then of course there's the anthologies that just collects all of these and stuff. But that's our rankings for the tier list. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you agree, let us know in the comments. And
I think this is the only way this tier list exists, is in this format right now. Yeah, or at least for me.
I'd be curious if anybody would make any subtle changes, because I think this probably rings true for a good majority of people, but some things might shift around.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd be curious where everyone would put Samurai Shodown 2019.
Yeah. It definitely has the potential to move up as time passes.
It could. So. Yeah. That could waver between S and A for me. So that wraps up that. Jake, I don't know if anyone has anything they want to ask us, but if they were to do it, it would be... It's time for fan questions. Ask us your bullshits. There haven't been much questions, but you said that there was something that you saw earlier, Gordy?
Yeah, I saw a question. It was by, let's see, I put it in thoughts. I don't have a lot of thoughts tonight. Crimbox, he was basically asking... how does it compare to Soul Calibur? How does this game compare to Soul Calibur?
Oh, it's SamSho?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because he's a very big fan of the Soul Calibur
and you can speak
series.
on that because you play Samurai or Soul Calibur much more than I do.
I love Soul Calibur. It's definitely the damage is a totally different animal. Obviously, it's not a 3D game. You know, I would say if you like the setting and you like the feel of Soul Calibur, try this out. Absolutely try it out. It's the mechanics are totally different.
Yeah, well, for one, it's a 2D fighter.
It is a 2D fighter. Yeah. It is much more violent if that's a issue for you, or the opposite if it's a driving force. It's cool. I love swordplay, but it's in Soul Calibur. The swords are kind of like Nerf swords. And in this game, it's like you're scared of the sword.
That's a really...
You're scared of the damage.
Sword.
And so the entire mechanic of gameplay isn't these, epic sidestep, combo craziness. It's like... It's more footsies, I guess.
Yeah, and it's very slow. Absolutely. I love the Nerf comparison.
Yeah,
it's tits. Like if you get those zombie...
And it's no knock to Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur 2 for Dreamcast was life for me. Like I probably played that more than any other fighting game. What
about Soul? Was it Soul Edge? Soul Blade?
Yes, it was what was on Dreamcast.
Yeah. Standard Operator says, I'm curious what you don't like about the new game because I haven't heard too many negatives about it. So you probably weren't there when we were doing our impressions on it. So I'll give you kind of like a quick overview. We play on Xbox. We are a multi-console family here, but we played on Xbox. And in our on Xbox, this isn't happening on the PlayStation version. On Xbox, we can't play local. The local mode, as of now, doesn't work. So that was our big knock because we couldn't sit on the couch and play it together. So Gordy and I live very close to each other. So the only way we could play together is if we got online. So he went a block away to his apartment We're both hardwired in. We were literally like 800 feet apart on hardwire, very high speed internets, and just the lag was ridiculous. And so the net code we didn't find in our experiences were super good, and just kind of bare bones for $60. Those are our only qualms standard. Anything gameplay wise, it's fantastic. Yeah,
So
it's typical SNK netcode. I've heard that. So you're not getting anything different than what you've probably experienced in King of Fighters or anything. Those are our qualms.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nameless says, if you love whiffing and suddenly losing 80% of your life in the cock slap known as footsies, you'll want to pull your hair out. When you land that 80% punish, though, you'll feel like Tony Montana.
Montana.
Fucking deep cut. Sick reference.
That's a great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
true.
dude.
Yeah. So, Jake, look at your face.
Hi.
You haven't got to play the Samurai Showdown, so you didn't. You weren't able to contribute.
I have a feeling that Jake is going to be a big fan.
Yeah, he will be.
I really like the old games, so this will be an excuse to learn how the fuck that POW meter works.
Oh, it's not in it.
It's
The
not.
meter's gone. No, it's a rage meter now. It's a.
Oh, okay.
It's just like
Standard.
it's a typical meter. You take damage, it fills up.
Okay. Cool. Then I don't have to learn that, so it's going to be great. I'm super
However,
excited.
once it fills up and it's all the way, and you're like, and it's like full rage meter, your attacks do more damage. So that's cool.
Dope. Is Earthquake still a grappler?
So let me tell you something. Earthquake is the only character in the roster I haven't tried yet because
There's two characters I haven't tried, and he's one of them.
Because he's Earthquake?
he doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. So I
Dude,
couldn't
it's
tell
the
you.
only character I'm concerned
I'm
with
pretty
playing
sure.
at the moment in time.
I'm pretty sure Earthquake is a grappler.
Oh yeah, he for sure
And
is.
then-
He for sure is.
And then, Hattori
I hope he's got
Hanzo
a
is a
forward
mix.
too.
Oh, fuck off.
I think doesn't Hattori Hanzo have two grapples, or
Oh,
I don't remember.
You'll like Hanzo.
Okay.
He's got some grapples too.
Type.
Pretty sure.
But yeah,
I do like me a good grapple.
Yeah, I know you do.
yeah.
Anywho, so a quick special shout out to some very special people that are giving us love on patreon.com/R24, which, like we were mentioning at the start of the show, if you weren't here, we'll be able to, we put that money back into making things like this happen.
Yes.
So a special shout out to Diabeto, the one and only Sama, the one and only Racepticon, that fucking traitor with his name, Racepticon. Sea Witch,
Which reception?
our fucking girl,
Yeah.
sister from some sort of mister. She's the resident female of the crew. And the one and only Ego Trip. Special shout out to those special patrons. If you want to hear your name come out of my mouth like molasses, patreon.com/RT4. And there it is.
Yeah.
Special tears.
Go there.
It's probably the end of the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry
I
for the
think
little Twitch hiccup in the middle of it. But
Yeah, that
what
was
can you do?
weird, but
Happens.
it definitely seemed like it was not.
Yeah, it wasn't.
All
us.
right.
Yeah. And if it was, I'll never admit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, fellas,
It's fun.
ladies,
Go play
Yes.
some SamSho.
I love you.
We love you very much.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Soon.
See you.